How you doing, everyone? Hey everyone, we'll try this all over again. I was supposed to press the countdown button and instead I pressed go live instead. So yeah, there we go. Bit of a mess this morning. Anyway, come here. If you're interested in getting the shorter version of the weekly wrap each week, we've just uploaded the first one to Spotify and to the audio podcast. It's not on iTunes. iTunes is just a pain at the moment to try and get stuff onto, but everything else, it is available. So if you just want a short, brief version of this in about 10, 14 minutes, the audio only is available on Acast. It is available on Spotify. You can check it all out there. But good morning and welcome to everyone to the weekly wrap where we go through all of the stories of the week and try and wrap them all off in a nice little bow before we move on to new, fresh stories for next week and lots of made-up stuff that's likely to pop up, as was the case last week. We got a bit of stuff to get stuck into. We're going to cover Igor Pageau, the wrap-up of that and what was said over the last couple of days, Mateo Joseph's current situation, Isaac Schmidt, Bal El Khazri rumours, as well as Leeds' current transfer stance heading into the final month of the season. But plenty of people in the chat. If you can give us a like as we get going, that would be fantastic as well. Waiting to see if Leeds have announced Son. Do you know what's sad to see that? Of all the players that are not Leeds players, Son is probably my favourite non-Leeds player. I really enjoy him. I think he's a complete pro. I love his emotion. I love how much he cares about the game. So sad to see an end to his time at Tottenham as he moves off. But yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to have to get him a new Fantasy League player as well. So yeah, good morning. Kimberly's in the house as well this morning. We have got Michael. There's no Lucas Perry in the Leeds squad for the friendly today. He was signed with a bit of a knock that he had. It was going to keep him out for a week or two. So he should be back all fine for the AC Milan game next week. So all fine, no issues at all there. So don't worry about that. We'll get into bits and pieces after we said hello to everybody. Good evening from South Africa. Or good morning from South Africa, whatever it is over there at the moment. Chris, what's happening, Pat Bamford? Pat Bamford will be with the Leeds United under-21s moving forward until he secures a move away from the club. He's not part of Daniel Farke's plans, has been told so, and is being expected to move on. So yeah, lots of people in the chat. Great to see everyone there. He does have a little bit of a knock. Not an issue. It's a tiny one. He was going to miss 2 games with Lyon anyway. Same situation with Leeds. But yeah, lots and lots of people in the house. We will get into the detail today. Who's in goal today? I would imagine Carl Darlow. Elan Meslier probably get a couple of minutes as well. They might rotate it around. They might even see Axe Cairns get a couple of minutes in goal as well. So, and Leeds will welcome back to Elland Road Alfonso Pedraza, who had a very good loan at Leeds a while back when he was much, much younger than he is now. But yeah, nice to see him back at the club as well. Can we go for Son? I believe Son is already heading to the MLS. So, yeah, unlikely. Let's get stuck into this today. I won't keep it too long, but I will let you know, just starting off, that I'll come back to that. We will be doing a watch along over on bigup.com. If you're new to that platform, bigup.com, you go on, you become a member. It's free to join. There's no cost. There's no adverts. There's nothing there. And we will start today at about 2:45. So about an hour from now, we'll do a little bit of a pre-match before the game starts. And then we will cover the match between Leeds United and Villarreal. You can come and join me over there if you want it. Good platform. Lots of nice new innovations coming in there for next season. Not the innovations that the Sky TV crowd are bringing in with cameras in dressing rooms and interviews on the sideline during the game. But yeah, some very interesting ones that we will have a lot of fun with this year. So you can come over and join me later on for that if you want to have a bit of company while you're watching the Leeds United game. Also, just to get the plugs out of the way, you can join me in supporting the channel as well if you want to get some of the official Leeds United merch. There is links down below for the training gear, the home kit and the away kit. If you want to click those links, follow them to the official Leeds page. Anything you buy from there, it's the official merch, and it does help support this channel as well. So you can check that out if you want to. But let's get it stuck in and start off with today's the week's news and see where we are. And the Igor Pageau situation, as we all know, has dominated Leeds United's online platforms and news for the last couple of weeks. But there was a really interesting piece from Baron Cross in The Athletic towards the back end of this week. Now, the Square Ball, if you've watched it, did cover it. They didn't want to know the detail on why we didn't get a player. Personally, I do like to know why we didn't get a player, because If you know why you didn't get him, you can see what happens with other players into the future. And if you start to see a similar pattern of forming, there's a trend there. And maybe you can have a deeper look at that. So for me, I'm interested into why Leeds didn't get him. And they've done a pretty decent section on this. So basically what they've said is, coming into last weekend, when it looked, for all intents and purposes, like Leeds United could be about to sign Igor Pageau. Real quick, sorry. Lucas Perry is not on the Leeds United squad today. He's injured. You won't see him until next week's game. He's got a small knock. We'll be out of the game. So unfortunately, mate, you'll see him next week. Igor Pageau. So the club have basically said that, spoke to Barron, and they've given some detail of what actually went on. And they say that going into the weekend last week, they had an email, a written agreement with Feyenoord, who had agreed Leeds United's terms on a move for Igor Pageau. At that point, Leeds were allowed to progress with getting a deal done with the player. And they also had an email and written confirmation from the player saying that they had agreed to the personal terms that Leeds had put forward. The player had seen the project, was excited by the project, and everything was fine. And then came silence, which concerned Leeds. Adam Underwood, Leeds sporting director, has said that throughout this process, he wasn't confident, even though Leeds had written confirmation, because of how Igor Pageau was acting on social media and his family as well. They were liking posts, linking him with moves to Marseille. They were liking fan posts, Instagram posts. They were posting photographs in the south of France. So Adam Underwood had this worry in the back of his head that should Marseille decide to come back in, put an equal bid on the table, Leeds could be in trouble, and the player would then himself choose to go to Marseille. So what happened? There was silence. Leeds had everything agreed. They were basically saying, what's next? What do we do? Do we send them a jersey for photographs? Do we get a medical booked? What do we do in the situation here? And they got silence. And then towards late Sunday evening, Marseille came back into the mix and matched Leeds' terms for player and club, at which point then the player had a decision to make. Now, his representatives have said that it was a tough decision, but I think if you look a bit deeper, you're talking about a player who's not a Leeds fan, who's a Brazilian. You've got the south of France, Champions League football, and top-tier French league football, versus West Yorkshire, a likely bottom half scrap. I'm not saying a relegation scrap. I don't think Leeds will go down. I'm being confident. But a likely scrap down there. And no European football. I don't think it was as difficult a decision possibly as he's made out, or as we personally would make out. But that was the decision maker. Leeds were left disappointed. But what was said was, Leeds saw Igor Pageau as a unicorn signing. They saw him as a 1 in 1,000. These players don't become available that often. And when he did become available, he was out of Leeds' range at the start of the transfer window. And as the window went on, he became more and more available. The transfer demands came down. The wage demands came down. And all of a sudden, it looked like Leeds got a clear run at this. So Leeds pushed forward and tried to get this deal done. And I'm absolutely okay with Leeds trying to do these. This was a stretch target. It was always going to be difficult. It was worth doing on the unlikely possibility that you did manage to get him. So for me personally, that's okay. No issues for me at all. The other part of this is maybe Marseille used Leeds a little bit. Maybe Marseille wanted to find out what the magic number was and sat back and let Leeds move in. But Leeds did the same with Marseille. Leeds let Marseille have their negotiations. And when they backed away, Leeds stepped in. So a bit of cat and mouse stuff went on here. The other part of it is maybe Feyenoord themselves were also the ones that were using both clubs. They knew Marseille didn't have the money. They kept saying Marseille didn't have the money until they did. Until Leeds agreed to fee. And then all of a sudden, in comes Marseille to match the offer. And away he goes and off to Marseille. He has been now shown as a Marseille player. It does show ambition from the club, and that's where I'm okay with this. Yeah, fair enough, we didn't get him. I'm not in the same boat as the square ball who are like, I don't want to know about your failures. It's a real negative way of going, and I don't see it like that. Personally, I think I'm interested in the detail as to why we get players and why we don't, and who we've beaten and who we haven't beaten. So for me personally, I'm okay with that. I'm glad Leeds are trying to get these targets, and we've got more detail on that towards the end of this. The other situation was Mateo Joseph. So where are we with this one? So again, Baron Cross in The Athletic has got a really good piece on this. And sorry, I'll get through some comments actually first before we get to that. Michael's asking, Jer, how come Leeds United could bring Rafa to Ellandro, the Brazilian French? Because he was coming from Rennes in France, who were mid-table at the time. Oh, no, he wasn't. He was in Champions League football with them as well. Different money, different offer. He wanted to get a stepping stone. Leeds did try to present the same pattern as Rafinha to show a stepping stone there. Player wasn't interested. So ultimately, they're not the same player. They're not the same people. different negotiations, different time as well. Leeds had a year behind them in the Premier League at that stage. Leeds are only a new Premier League club, and history would tell you over the last 2 years, any newly promoted side will likely get relegated. So from that perspective, that's where the differences are. So yeah, look, we're not going to get every player, and I think in some portions of the online supporters, there's a little bit of a sense of entitlement starting to creep in of, well, why aren't we getting these players? Well, because we're up against other clubs, and these players aren't Leeds fans, and that's how the transfer market works. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. We've beaten other teams to get the players that we've brought in this summer, especially Lucas Perry, especially Anton Stack. And we've lost out to other clubs to get other players. So, and maybe the Bielsa factor was a part of that as well. Although I don't believe the manager is really the ultimate pull on this, being completely honest. So, yeah. So, Joseph, Barron Cross has a piece in The Athletic where they basically got some information from the club on Mateo Joseph as well. Mateo Joseph, some people are saying he's not training. He is. He is training. He has turned up to work. He's just not training with the squads. He is training on his own at Thorpe Arts, and he won't cross over with the team either. The Leeds first team have their own room or their own building, their own training facilities. They don't really cross over with the under-21s or other parts of the club. So he's unlikely to cross paths with a lot of the first team players right now. But in the piece, and it's the best way that it can be described, essentially they have said that Mateo Joseph has managed to single-handedly ostracize himself from the club by pushing for a move that he was likely to get anyway. The situation here is that Leeds were okay with him going away on a loan, but Leeds are adamant the player is not for sale. Leeds will not sanction a loan with any form of a predetermined option fee or with an obligation. The reason for that is this. Parag Morate and the club see Mateo Joseph as a long-term, high-term prospect. They think that he will go on and become one of the best strikers in Europe. They see a high ceiling in him. And just because he's not doing it right now, that doesn't mean he's not going to do it in the future. And Leeds see value in him. And the issue here is, should Leeds agree to Betis's terms and give them a loan with a 10 million option to buy, he goes to Spain and absolutely rips it up, scores loads of goals. All of a sudden, he's worth 25 million, not 10. And Leeds are out of pocket by 15 million. If the obligation is exactly the same, you stick an obligation of 15 on it, player does great, he's worth 25, you lose out. Leeds don't want to do that. I have my own opinions on the Betis stuff as well, and I've made them clear over the past couple of weeks. So for me, the issue here is they want an option. Leeds are like, you're not getting one. And Leeds are adamant the player is not for sale, but they will sanction a pure, clean loan move. No option, no obligation. He is free to go on loan. He can go. Just teams in the Championship. Birmingham had a look at him. Getafe had been linked. Girona have been linked. And Real Betis have been linked. But they're all looking for an option. Leeds are saying there's no option. Now, the other part of this is Betis, Joseph's representatives, and Leeds all agree that this is likely to rumble on till the end of the window. And there's a very strong chance come September 1st, Mateo Joseph is still a Leeds United player. And then the player's in a very difficult position where he has to start backtracking if he wants to play football. The mistake that he's made here is he could have asked for this move. There wouldn't have been a problem. Club would have sanctioned it. Straight up loan. Off you go. Go play some football. No issues. None at all. Club are fine with that. But the fact that he refused to go to Germany and doesn't want to be part of the team's plans means he's not getting football during preseason. He's not playing on 21 games. He's not playing in first team games. He's not even playing in training matches. He's just training to keep fit. No match sharpness happening there. And that will be a major problem for him should he get a move. And even if he doesn't get a move and he does get reintegrated into the Leeds United squad, he has a hell of a lot of catching up to be match fit. And that's his problem. All of this was completely preventable. All he had to do was go to change that picture. Still don't make your show. Yeah, all he had to do was go to Germany, train, and still get his move. Leeds were likely to sanction that move regardless. So, as I've said for 2 weeks, incredibly badly advised in this situation. They've really messed up his short-term career. And they've put, I suppose, a weight on his shoulders now that says to other clubs, this is the kind of player who, if he's not happy, will throw his ties out of pram and try and force moves. So for me, yeah, bad move. Bad decision being made all around here. Now, whether he backtracks and fixes it, we saw it with Willianto, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah. So the other one to talk about is this man here, Isaac Schmidt. Very clean, very easy situation here. Schmidt has basically asked Leeds, can he go on loan? He wants game time. He wants to play in the World Cup this summer coming up. It's a World Cup year, so you're going to get strange moves happening while players look to get game time. Leeds are okay with this. Leeds agree. Leeds understand why he wants to get the move in the short term anyway. So Leeds have no problem with this. And Leeds have said, yeah, no issues with a loan. He can go as long as Leeds get cover. The deal has been agreed in principle with Werder Bremen. So he can go to Werder Bremen on loan. Leeds have a good relationship with them. Max Ferber is there at the moment. Leeds brought Ilya Gruev in from there. So there is a good relationship there. They're okay with this. There's nothing too deep to this. There's no falling out. There's no manager issues. It's simple as this. The player needs game time to play in the World Cup. He's not going to get that at Leeds. I'm not guaranteed as much as he will need at Leeds. So the club are happy to facilitate this move in the short term for him. Helps the player out. Leeds have no issue. But Daniel Farke and Leeds have said the same thing. He can go once the Leeds have brought in cover in the fullback position. In that situation, you're looking at the links so far have been Jaffa Tanganga and James Justin from Leicester and Millwall, respectively. And the situation there is they're not coming from very credible links right now. So as it stands right now, player can go once Leeds get somebody else in, but it's not clear whether Leeds are looking at replacements. Just to catch up with people coming in, I've said this like 6 times now, but Lucas Perry's got a knock, so he's out of the squad today. He came in with a knock in the first place. He was missing 2 games from Lyon, the last one and this weekend's one as well with Lyon. There's no issues there. It's a small knock, nothing major, but yeah. If you want to find out what's going on with the team, go back and start and watch the stream from the start. All the information is there. We'll get to a bit more towards the back end of it as well. So that's Schmidt's situation. He's, again, no big drama here. And this is the option, the difference between Schmidt and between Mateo Joseph. He's turned up to work. He's trained. He's involved with the squad. He's doing his bits. He's doing what he has to do. All good stuff. He's being a professional. And he will get his move. He will get a loan move. Mateo Joseph could have that as well if he just went about it the right way. Also, sorry, I meant to say, Parag Marathi on Mateo Joseph has said he sees a long-term future with him and he's not going to bow the pressure from anybody to let him go on the cheap. Leeds are sticking to their guns on this. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He doesn't hold any cards in this situation. The next one to move on to and talk about is the probably only major transfer story to come out towards the back end of the week, and it's this kid here. It's Bal El Khazri. Leeds, according to Sasha Tavaleri, was backed up by local media, but it's gone very quiet on this. I'll give you some detail on where this story is and where it came from initially. Leeds are rumoured, and it's only rumour, to have met with El Khazri's representatives this week to discuss a move. And Leeds have told them that they will be willing to pay the £24.5 million release clause that runs until the middle of August. So Leeds have until the middle of August to get that done before that expires. There is nothing else beyond that. There's no news on a formal approach, which Leeds would likely keep quiet anyway. There's no news on whether the player will be in favour of a move to Leeds United. Does he want a second season with a club that could be potentially, not guaranteed, down towards the bottom of the table, or at least in the bottom half of the table? The situation with this was initially, apparently, according to the sources on this, El Khazri was on Leeds' list prior to Leeds moving for Igor Pajau. Pajau was a player Leeds didn't think they could get. They were looking at El Khazri. They were seriously interested in him. Then Pajau became available and Leeds pivoted towards Pajau. They've pivoted back now towards El Khazri, but he's named as being one of several players that Leeds are looking at in those positions, 10 and wide areas right now. And we'll have to see if they can get a deal done, or if they even do bother to move forward with this. I mean, a lot of people in the chat this week basically saying he's not good enough, and people are just fixated on the G&A. Go and watch this kid playing. He was Leicester's best player towards the second half of the season. Anyone who's telling you that Leicester fans are saying he's not good enough, it's not the case. I watched 2 of the biggest Leicester YouTubers talk about him, and they've all said the same thing. But Notte was their best player the first half of the season. El Khazri was their best player the second half of the season. So he's had 1 year in the Premier League under his belt. It was his first season last year, so he'll likely improve again this year. And you'd likely see him improve anyway with better players around him. We'll see. He has over 100 games behind his belt from the Belgian Pro League as well. He's played at a World Cup, 1 game, but did play at a World Cup, and has played in the African Cup of Nations. The other part of this is he could miss part of December with being with Morocco in the African Cup of Nations as well. So that's where we are with the El Khazri one. It's an interesting one. I take him, no problem. I think he's a very good player. He's got a very high ceiling, would represent high resale value if we had to. Good player. And people ask me, James McAtee, forget about it. I would forget about it at this point. Man City have turned down a £25 million bid for James McAtee this week. They want £45 million. They see him in the same bracket as Cole Palmer, and they want £45 million. They are rumoured also to want to insert a buyback clause in his contract. So wouldn't represent good business for Leeds at that point. The game today is on LUTV. You can subscribe to it and get it if you need to. Who do I think will be our number 9 this season? I think we'll get a number 9. It could be Muniz, although Atalanta and other clubs are looking at him. Newcastle appear to have moved on from Muniz to other targets, so it could be there. But I reckon if it's not Muniz, Leeds have other players on their list anyway. So I'm not overly worried about anything right now. I think we'll get the players we need to get to bring in. Also, I've said it during the week, I'm really impressed with the condition that Joe Piro's come back in. He looks super lean. He looks a half a yard faster. He looks sharper. And maybe the Premier League's perfect for him. Maybe it's exactly what he needs. Maybe it's the division he was meant to be in. He wants to prove himself as a Premier League striker as well. This is his chance. So if he doesn't come back and do it the right way, he's only impacting himself. I think personally, Joel Piroe could have a very good season for Leeds, just on basis of what I've seen so far. But then at this point last season, Mateo Joseph was smashing up the pre-season campaign, and we saw what happened there. So yeah, Mecha and Piroe. Mecha's looked really, really good in pre-season so far. The big one with him will be, can we keep him injury-free? We'll have to see on that one. And then finally today, to wrap up the back end of this, is the Leeds United transfer stance. Where are Leeds right now? What are their goals towards the last 4 weeks of this current transfer window? What are we going to do? Because it is quiet. It is a little bit quiet at this point. So there has, again, also been some news come out around this. Leeds have been given bits of information out to the press around where they stand. And they know fans aren't overly happy with the quiet part. They know fans aren't happy with some of the language they've used, but they're just basically saying to people, that's exactly where it is. On El Khazri, very good point here by Rob. 78 potential goal involvements. That's what he had. Unfortunately, Leicester didn't have the players that could finish them. They were playing up front with Andre Ayew. You know, so there's that. So there's a lot more context to that. Liverpool going in for Isak. Yeah, Liverpool go for Isak. I believe, I'll get you the exact player name that they have moved for. Big shout out to Paul Brooker for giving me some detail this morning on this. Basically, yeah, there it is. So Newcastle are planning to try and gazump Manchester United by making a move, and they've agreed a fee with RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko. So that could free up Rodrigo Muniz, although Atalanta in Italy are said to be interested in him as well. But you would imagine if it got down to a bidding war between Leeds and them, Leeds should be able to outbid them. So yeah, we'll have to see. So where are we with the transfer window? What's the next step for Leeds? Well, according to Baron Cross, he says that Leeds United still want a striker, a left winger, a number 10, and a fullback cover. So that means that between now and the end of the window, Leeds are still looking to bring in 4 more players. They've signed 7 already. That brings you to 11. Maths is never my strong point. I think I've got that one right. But they want 4 more players in the positions that we're all looking at as well. Leeds want to bring in players of better quality than what they've got. And this is the part where they're aware the fans aren't happy with the language. Leeds do not want to bring in anybody of the current level of what they've got. So Leeds currently say that they don't believe there's a huge amount of availability for players that are better than, say, Dan James, Larry Ramazani, Willie Nonto, Jack Harrison. There's plenty of wingers out there of a similar level. Leeds want to bring in players of a better level. Now, again, I saw a negative reaction to this, saying there's loads of wingers out there, just go and get them. It's never that straightforward. But I think what's being missed there, and I think people are maybe missing the detail on this, is Leeds are essentially saying that they're only bringing in players that are better than what they've got. And again, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm okay with that. It's logical. We need to improve the squad. We need to raise the floor of the squad as well as the ceiling of the squad. So again, I'm okay with that. I think it makes logical sense. Leeds are also said to still look to bring in stretch targets and difference makers. So they are still looking for the more flashier sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone, the shining lights at the end of the window as well, the players that can get us a little bit more excited about it. So yeah, there's that situation. Mark is saying, why not Solomon? I don't get this fixation with Manor Solomon. And I'll be very, no disrespect, Mark. Manor Solomon is not a Leeds United player. He has been told by Spurs he will be with them for the entirety of pre-season because they want to look him. This information has been out there for quite some time now. People keep saying, go get Solomon. Leeds can't get Solomon until at least the end of the transfer window, until Thomas Frank has made a decision as to whether he wants him in his squad or not. Leeds do like Solomon. I personally would take Solomon back, no problem at all. We've been accused of being disrespectful for talking about other wingers. Manor Solomon is a Tottenham Hotspur player. He is not a Leeds United player, so there's nothing we can do about that at this point. Leeds have already spoken to Spurs about getting a deal done and have been told that Manor Solomon will be with the Spurs side for their entirety of pre-season while Thomas Frank has a closer look at him. Solomon himself has said he wants to push to stay at Spurs and he wants to fight for his place in that team and he wants to be part of their their European plans for next season. So yeah, there's that. This is a really good point. I want to actually cover this. Thanks for putting this up, Yankee. Some fans are whining about Broja. Broja scored 6 goals in 3 seasons. He's got 3 goals in his last 2 seasons. He has been consistently injured for that time. And if you look at the Leeds fans, again, just some very small minority of overly reactionary people. If you go and look at Chelsea's fans' response to Broja going to Burnley, they are praising their sporting director for getting both Agui and Broja off the books. They're delighted with the money they've got for these 2 players. So yeah, I think people are too fixated on what other people say. Saw somewhere yesterday, situation changed. There was reports came out from, again, unreliable sources, Football Insider, even Team Talk are talking about Solomon again today. I take all that with a pinch of salt. The position has been made pretty clear on that. He doesn't come back to anywhere until Spurs have made a final decision on a mark. So I hope that at least clarifies that situation. Some saying, why didn't we get Broja? Says Muniz. Yeah, that's the go look at it. It's mad. The same people that are complaining about El Khanusa's G&A are the same people that are screaming, why are we not bringing Broja in? Broja's done nothing in 3 years. Nothing in 3 years. And as I say, Chelsea are delighted that they've managed to sell him. So that's the situation on that. So anyway, back to the final bit of story on the Leeds transfer stance. As it stands, Leeds want 4 more players, a left winger, a 10, a 9, and cover in the fullback position. No problem at all. They also want stretch targets. They want to bring in players that make the squad better. And they are still looking for difference makers because they know that they will need goals in this season if they're going to stay up and at least push up the table. So that's where we are at that point of the window. Won't keep you too much longer. But that's where we are at this point of the window. I'm okay with it. I'm absolutely okay with it. I knew it would go quiet. One of the people that was complaining about Broja yesterday, when he was called out and told that Broja's been injured for 3 or 4 years constantly, his basic response was, yeah, I know that. He's not that good. I just want more signings, which is just a weird stance. I want good signings. I want the best signings Leeds can bring in. So, yeah, why bring in Broja if he's going to spend his whole season on the treatment table? Exactly. What's my position on Jack Harrison? I've not made that clear over the last year or so. I would rather Jack Harrison wasn't here. Personal preference. I don't think he brings anything to the squad. That's the situation I have with that. So, yeah, I would rather Leeds move on. The fact that Leeds is still looking for a left winger, it was said in the square ball, the fact that he's wearing number 38 now suggests the club have already made a decision on that. So, yeah, personally, give him the minutes right now. Have a look at him. He's part of this preseason squad. Leeds need bodies for preseason. There's no issue there with him playing. See how he gets on. If he ends up being a Leeds United player come the start of the season, he puts a Leeds United shirt on for the first game of the season, I will back every player that wears a Leeds United jersey. But up until that point, personal preference is I would rather see him go. Joffrey to Rangers. Didn't cover it because it came from Pete O'Sport from Football Insider. And we don't cover anything that Football Insider say on this channel because Football Insider 99.999% of the times are incorrect and have make stuff up. The source on Joffrey to Rangers is Football Insider only. They've been wrong on everything so far this year. They're wrong on everything last year and everything the year before. So it's an easy link. It would make sense for him to go to Rangers. He could do really, really well in Scotland. Does it advance his career? I don't know. Just going to the Championship and having a really good year there. Ruben Sellers really likes him. He could end up at Sheffield United. You never know. But yeah, the source on Joffrey to Rangers is I don't swear on the channel, but I'll swear for effect on this one. It's a dog shit link. And that's where I sit on that one, Clive. So yeah, I wouldn't read into it too much at all. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, if you challenge the Wingers, you get abused. Yeah, there's a lot of it going around. I mean, there's people doing live streams and there's stuff content going out around. Leeds have activated the release clause of El Khanusa. They haven't. They just haven't. There's a lot of clickbait stuff floating around at the moment. So take some time to look into these. If you see someone being linked, there's a guy who's basically said that Everton have opened talks with Leeds around a loan move or a free transfer move for Harrison. That guy's got 2,000 subscribers, 2,000 followers, I should say. And the person that he's linked with putting that story out hasn't mentioned Jack Harrison since February. So it doesn't take long to find out if these stories are true. A couple of extra links, clicks, and you'll find it. So that's where we are out there. No hassle at all, Clive. And yeah, not directed at you, mate, but to see people retweeting P.O. Sport, who's never right, and that is the source. Part of me found it funny, and then the reaction, you see the reaction online, you're like, Jesus Christ, are we actually doing this? Are we serious about this? Michael asking, but will Pat be picked up by anybody? Being heavily linked again when I moved for Wrexham. Birmingham had a look at him as well. There's some loose links towards Middlesbrough. But again, Pat's doing the right things. He's turned up. He's playing for under 21s. He's scoring goals. He's putting his doing his business, yeah, no problem at all. James Justin, we covered him earlier on in the news. Jeffrey, it's a link. It's a loose link. It's not an overly credible one. I take him. I think he'd be good cover, but there we go. There, where to watch for free. I can't tell you that on a YouTube stream, or else I'll get demonetized and shut down. So, but you can go Google that. I'm sure you'll find out somewhere. Yeah, James Justin. Yeah, I'd like him. Good fullback. Has had a couple of injuries, but he's coming in as cover. Can do well on both flanks. No issue. But it isn't coming from credible sources right now. It's very quiet, but Leeds are looking for fullback cover there. Never thought Joffrey was good enough for Rangers. Oh, he's more than good enough for Scotland to me. More than good enough for Scotland. Look at players that have smashed it in Scotland and left Scotland and gone to other leagues and struggled. Yeah. I think Pat would do really well up there as well. I'm a Celtic fan outside of a Leeds fan. Well, fan loose. I have an interest in Celtic. I wouldn't say no to him at Celtic. So, different league, different standard, all that kind of stuff. Right, folks, that'll be it for me for this part of it. If you want to come and join me on bigup.com for the watch along, you can. We're starting at 2:45. So, in about 15-20 minutes, we'll be over on Big Up. If you want to come and join us, we'll go through the team sheet that's come out. We'll look at the game stuff. We haven't covered the game stuff here. We'll do that over on Big Up. So the logo's there, but you can go and check us out. Bigup.com. Go into the search bar, the Leeds View. You'll find me there. I'm the only Leeds streamer over there. There's no ad breaks. There's nothing like that. It's all clean and it's free to join, become a member anyway. And again, as I say, there's some really cool innovations coming over there in the next couple of weeks. And again, if you're not into this kind of format, don't worry about it. There is an audio only version of this that's already gone out. No chit chat with the chat for those who aren't into that. Much shorter version. This was 31 minutes. That's 14. You can check out that as well. There's some opinion there as well. There will be more audio only content coming this season as well. We're looking at doing a podcast with the American Elites podcast. Alex Simon and myself are looking at doing a more Leeds United, but also football related podcast. Audio only, won't be on YouTube, will only be on the audio platforms. You can find me on Spotify as well, the Leeds View on Spotify. You can follow us there as well and give us a review if you want to help that as well. So we're in plenty of places and we're going to start doing bespoke content for different types of platforms to suit different types of people who like their content in different formats. But nothing that's on YouTube will be leaving YouTube. It'll all be the same, adding additional bits elsewhere. So you can check that out if you want to. But that'll be it for me today, folks. Massive thanks, as always, for supporting the channel, especially during this really quiet period of the transfer window, where Leeds get their next set of targets lined up to make that run of, hopefully, 4 more signings before the end of the window. Folks, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you over in Big Up if you're there to watch the game. If not, back tomorrow, or back Monday morning for Leeds news, and we'll have a brief cover of what's happened over the weekend as well. Enjoy your day. See you soon.